Everybody, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I'm in the car, obviously, right, outside of one of my clinics, because outside of making these videos, guys, here's the thing. I actually run research clinics. I know it sounds crazy for you to take advice from someone who's actually doing what they're talking about, but so I've got a lot of stuff to do today outside of making videos, and on top of that, I still want to get like 3 videos done. One being an interview with a CRA, so stay tuned for that one. But for those of you that are new, first of all, welcome. Make sure you subscribe, follow me on all the social networks. You can see it under the YouTube comments or the YouTube video description, and on the blog, just go to my bio and you can find out more about me and all the social networks I'm on. You could email me anytime, dan@theclinicaltrialsguru.com, or text me 949-415-6256. So today's text I got from someone, and it's a text, and let me just read you the text, alright? It says, I've heard from some doctors that they are frustrated dealing with the CRO hired for their trials. They had a great relationship with the sponsors, using their products for years, or prescribing the products. Then the CRO comes in and are pushy, impatient, and don't treat the doctor like a customer. Do you see this problem with a lot of big CROs? So here's the thing, and here's where I think your doctors are relatively inexperienced when it comes to clinical trials, at least I think. Maybe not, I could be wrong, but and most big organizations operate this way too. There's a sales side, and there's a research and development corporate side. So the sales side, of course, they're nice. They're going to bring you lunch. They're going to try to wine and dine you as much as possible. They used to take doctors out on exotic trips, like to the Bahamas and to Hawaii. Now the Sunshine Act came out, and they're kind of restricted on what they can do. But their whole demeanor, they hire different people for sales reps than they would for a CRA. I'd be curious to know whether you're comparing the sponsors doing the actual studies with your PIs to the CROs doing the actual studies with your PIs, or are you comparing the sponsors from the sales end and then the CROs from the R&D end, the research side of things? Because the sponsors from the R&D side of things, they don't behave the same way as the sales reps do, and they're actually quite comparable to CROs when it comes to their demeanor. It'd be hard to look at 2 CRAs and interact with them and check out their demeanor and all that stuff, and then try to figure out who's from a sponsor and who's from a CRO. It'd be really difficult to tell. They're pretty much the same. Now, it is true a lot of sponsors are outsourcing to CROs. So, from the perspective that maybe your PIs established a relationship with the sponsor CRAs, and now maybe those sponsor CRAs are gone or are rolled into the new CRO, and now the new CRO is sending different people out. That could be something that is just being dictated by the market. That may not have anything to do with how the CRO actually operates. That's just what's going on in the market. So when you talk about them being pushy and impatient and don't treat the doctor like a customer, well, first of all, when it comes to not treating the doctor like a customer, it's because the doctor is not a customer in this case. If you're doing clinical research for a CRO, the doctor is actually serving the CRO. The CRO is the customer, right? If you want to look at it that way. Being impatient and things like that, the CROs come in. The whole selling point of a CRO, and the whole reason why CROs try to convince sponsors to let them have their business, their research business, is because they can make things more efficient, and sometimes that comes at the cost of coming across as pushy or impatient. But there's no sense in complaining about this. It just is the way it is. We can just react to what the market gives us, and that's the way it is. And trust me, I've dealt with sponsors on the R&D side of things that are way pushier and more impatient than some of the CROs I dealt with. So it really does boil down to the individual companies, and even more so it boils down to the individual people at the companies, right? So that's just the way it is right now. It's 2015. This is not going to change. We're not going to go back to where sponsors are starting to manage their own studies again. In fact, any sponsors out there that are not using CROs, I predict in 5 years, all of them are going to be using CROs. So, yeah, that's just the way it is, all right? But remember, your doctor is not the customer of the CRO, all right? The CRO is actually the customer of your doctor. They're paying you to do studies, okay? Hopefully this helps. This is Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Keep your questions coming in. Bye-bye.